Hi, my name is Gerhard Schwantner and welcome to the Art of Nonverbal Selling. During the past 25 years, I've studied countless sales calls and videotaped and analyzed hundreds of interactions between buyers and sellers. What I've discovered is that most salespeople get so caught up in the verbal part of the sales call that they don't read or respond to the buyer's nonverbal signals. Dr. Morabian at UCLA found that only 7% of our feelings and attitudes are communicated with words, 38% with our tone of voice, and 55% non-verbally. I found that doing a 20-minute sales call, buyer and seller exchange over 200 non-verbal messages. The question is, what should we focus on? And how should we respond? To make it easy on ourselves, we can divide the body into 5 major nonverbal communication channels. The first channel is the face. A friendly face shows that the buyer is opening up to us. But as you know, facial expressions are not always genuine. In fact, buyers often wear a mask to hide their true feelings. The second channel are the buyer's arms. Closed arms may show that the buyer is guarded or defensive. The third channel are the buyer's hands. While facial expressions can be easily manipulated, we're often unaware of what we communicate with our hands. Open and relaxed hands are always a positive sign. The next channel are the buyer's legs. We want to observe if their legs are crossed away from us, which may indicate a guarded and defensive attitude. The last channel, the body angle, you'll see that the buyer is leaning away from the salesperson, another sign of caution. Now, is it necessary to read and analyze every nonverbal signal? No. That would be counterproductive. Here's a simple and effective way for managing the important nonverbal part of the sales call, the traffic light system. In a way, the buyer's body is telling us how to move forward with our sale. Fortunately, we don't have to learn more about psychology, but only about strategy. And here's how it works. Let's first talk about green signals. A buyer with a friendly facial expression, relaxed hands, arms uncrossed, legs relaxed, and a body angle directed towards you all indicate all signals are green. The buyer's body language says, go ahead with what you're doing. There are no hidden obstacles at this time. And go ahead and move forward with the sale. Let's talk about yellow signals. Here's some typical yellow signs. A steepling gesture, a sign of superiority. In sales, many times we see self-touching gestures, like the hand on chin. What do these signals mean? We can't know the exact meaning, but we do know that here's an obstacle preventing open communication between you and the buyer. The buyer won't tell you what it is, but the body language says, here's an obstacle, proceed with caution. Like in this example, crossed legs. It's very important for you not to mirror the buyer's yellow signals. The best strategy is to ask an open question and listen carefully so you can get the buyer to open up. It is very important to discuss the hidden issues before they become a real stumbling block to your sale. And that's where we see red signals. Red means that the buyer is getting either more indifferent and tunes out or increasingly aggressive and angry. In that case, you must act quickly before it's too late to respond. Your best strategy to red signals is to stop what you're doing, send green signals, and immediately redirect your approach. In this scenario, the salesperson responds with green signals. He leans forward and shows open palm gestures. When you express understanding of the buyer's feelings, chances are that the buyer will open up again. On your next sales call, pay attention to your customer's body language. Use the traffic light guide to make your counter moves. If you see green, proceed. If you see yellow, ask open questions. If you see red, stop and redirect your approach. Successful salespeople sell more with their eyes, and so can you. They communicate green signals throughout their call, and they close the sale when the buyer communicates green. Practice the art of nonverbal communication to make more money than you ever thought possible.
Think about your last sales call. Was the customer leaning forward or backward in his chair? Was she smiling at you, but at the same time, did she have her arms crossed? Did his desk present a barrier between the two of you? During a 20-minute sales call, approximately 800 nonverbal messages are exchanged between seller and buyer. You know your product. You know your presentation. Your goal is clear: to get the sale and to create a satisfied customer. But your verbal skills don't always lead you to the sale. Why? Because you often focus too much on what is being said. If you fail to pay attention to the nonverbal signals, you can create a wall between you and your prospect. Scientific research proves that we communicate 55% of our feelings and attitudes through nonverbal expressions, 38% through tone of voice, and only 7% through spoken words. Salespeople who maximize the impact of that 55% by reading and responding to their customers' body language will have a significant competitive advantage. Misinterpreting your customer's body language can often lead to lost sales.
Oh, that's very nice, yeah.
Great, he's ready to buy this. Well, if you don't have any other concerns, what do you say we talk delivery dates?
What if I pay all that money and it isn't compatible with our equipment?
If I may show you one more thing. So, do you feel this will work for you?
This sounds great.
Yeah, I think
I want this.
I'm gonna do what we need. I just need to run it by Brad, as I mentioned.
He's not as interested as I thought.
Final say so.
Well, you know, I'll get out of your way here. Maybe if I can just leave my card with you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, it's not a problem. Hey.
Thanks.
You can avoid these nonverbal mistakes, improve your observation skills, and learn to interpret major nonverbal signals and their meaning to your selling strategy. To successfully manage and control a sales call, we must become aware of our customer's body language, aware of our own body language, and manage to advance the sale and our relationship with the customer by applying the most appropriate verbal and nonverbal skills. When we use nonverbal communications techniques together with professional selling skills, you can identify and overcome negative nonverbal signals early in the sale.
Why don't I sit over here so we can go over our material together?
Respond faster and more accurately to buyer concerns.
Sherry, why don't we develop a quality assurance standard that matches your requirements?
It all begins with how you read your customers' true feelings and attitudes. Feelings that they may be unaware of or trying to hide. Monitoring the buyer's nonverbal signals starts with a receptive state of mind. The ability to read the customer's age, ethnicity, energy level, and personality, as well as the immediate environment, helps you respond instantly, appropriately, and successfully throughout the sales call.
Go ahead. All right, thanks. I got somebody in my office. I'll give it to you. Ah, Susan. Good to see you again.
It's nice to see you too.
Scanning is simple because there are only 5 major channels of nonverbal communication: face, body angle, arms, legs, and hands.
Pay all that money and it isn't
Observing a single gesture or focusing on one channel alone may not give us enough information, but scanning all 5 channels will provide us with vital clues about our customer's state of mind, expanding our awareness of his or her true feelings and
I'd like to
attitudes.
show you how beacon printing can take you.
An upright posture or body movement directed toward you is an important clue, signaling the sale is headed in the right
We can
direction.
achieve that. There's no reason not to do it. I really like that stuff.
Conversely, when your customer leans back or away from you, he may be sending a negative message. Your buyer's face can be a puzzle. People often mask disinterest or disagreement behind a friendly smile.
That's been my experience in other stores.
Some buyers are trained to frown when they hear any price, a simple but often effective nonverbal strategy designed to get a deeper discount.
You're not going to be able to beat that price anywhere else.
Skin color, such as a sudden flush or deepening redness, can indicate anger or embarrassment. Where your customer puts her arms, how she moves them, and the intensity of her movements can give you vital clues to your selling strategy.
Fairly high production schedule.
How you doing?
Likewise, customers often cross their legs away from you when they first sit down next to you. Then a few minutes later, you both find yourselves mirroring each other's body language.
Goodness.
However, the most revealing and reliable nonverbal signals are expressed through our hands. Relaxed hands and open palms indicate positive feelings.
Keep up with the volume.
Clenched fists indicate the opposite. We're often unaware of self-touching gestures, such as hands on chin, ear, nose, arm, or clothing. These silent messages often indicate anxiety or tension.
I know that you are very busy.
On your next call, focus on your buyer's hand gestures.
And I have a Syrah.
While most people can easily control their face, their hands will reveal the buyer's true feelings.
My customers seem to...
Remember, a single gesture may be insignificant.
If you sign this here...
What's important is to observe all 5 channels to find clues to whether your customer is reacting positively to your sales approach. Massive desks are visual barriers. It's hard to read your customer's body language in this setting. Sitting next to the buyer puts you on a more equal footing, where the atmosphere is more congenial. Remember, the objective of a sales call is not to walk away with a psychological profile of the customer, but to close the sale.
I do.
If you sign this here, you're getting the best quality product, the best price, backed by our guarantee.
To master nonverbal selling power, we need to learn to read and interpret the customer's nonverbal messages and understand their meaning to our selling strategy.
Please have a seat.
Thanks for meeting with me.
Just as a traffic light tells us to go, proceed with caution, or stop, the buyer's body communicates similar messages.
Try to get,
Green signals indicate that the customer is open and receptive to what you're saying. Your best strategy here is to move forward with your sales call.
breaking down.
Here are typical green signals. Your customer's body is leaning toward you. His face is friendly and smiling. His arms and legs are relaxed and uncrossed. His hands relaxed with palms open. You're on your way to making a sale.
Well, if you don't have any other concerns, what do you say we talk delivery dates?
I know where the corporation's going.
Yellow signals warn us to use caution. They suggest there is an obstacle preventing open communication with our buyer. You don't want to guess the nature of the obstacle, but you do want to uncover what it is. Here are typical yellow signals. Your customer leans away from you. Her face tense, doubtful, frustrated. Her arms and legs crossed, signaling caution.
Talk to you further back.
Her hands clasped and fidgeting. Yellow signals are silent obstacles that must be removed before you can close the sale. Don't ignore the body language of your customer when it indicates guardedness, frustration, tension, or doubt. What would be your best strategy for handling yellow signals? First, be sure your body communicates green signals.
Had many problems at all.
Second, ask open-ended questions to get the buyer to open up.
Just how important is it to you to increase speed while reducing overhead?
Well, obviously it's very important to me, but what's probably more important to me at this particular juncture is making sure that we stay within our budget.
Third, once the unspoken objections have been addressed, continue to display green signals and use open questions to encourage your customer to open up even more.
Upgrade the equipment while keeping...
If we fail to respond to a client's yellow signals, it's very likely that they'll turn red.
Listen, your last delivery was a week late. You cannot expect any more business from me unless you can guarantee on-time delivery.
I'm sorry about the late delivery.
Red signals alert you to stop. You are now facing nearly insurmountable barriers, and you need to repair the relationship first before you can move on with the sale.
The cause of it was that the replacement shipment didn't go out until after the holiday.
Red signals show that the buyer is becoming increasingly aggressive toward you or increasingly withdrawn from you. So remember, to enhance your selling power, the first key is